Alright, ladies and gentlemen, Christian Hanna Horror here today. We're going to do top 5 horror movies of 2004. Before I do that, I want to put over a really great t-shirt company. They are not an official sponsor of the show, but I love the t-shirt company. This is Gutter Garbs, a Return of the Living Dead Part 2 shirt, and I'm absolutely in love with it. Check out Gutter Garbs, guys. They are great. They shipped the shirts out the same day I ordered it. Maybe a coincidence, but regardless, that's pretty incredible. Gutter Garbs, guys, check them out. Okay, so 2004. This was a year where I really was watching movies. I was coming of age. A young man. I'm still a young man. I'm not old. But what I'm getting at is this was a year I really remember watching a lot of really good movies, in my opinion. And I'm going to give you my top 5 for the year. And as always, I love seeing your guys' list. So let's get going to 2004. Coming in at number 5 for me is a movie I really like. This movie, I don't see it talked about a whole lot. Some people may not be a fan of the movie. Some people may really like it. But that movie is The Village. When I first watched The Village, this movie blew me away. I just really got in depth with the story. It's almost like a cult, but it wasn't like a bad cult. It was like this people that wanted to live these purely pristine, clean lives. They wanted to have no technology, escape everything, so they lived like it was the medieval times almost or something, or just the pioneer days. And they faked this evil to keep people scared and to keep them inside. And I remember as a kid watching this in the theater, that opening scene where you hear the horns or whatever going off, and it's like everybody get inside and the bell rings. The bell was ringing, and you see creature, monster. It scared me to death the first time I watched it. Really good story, and I love The Village, so that is my number 5 for 2004. Coming in at number 4 is Dawn of the Dead, the remake. I love the remake of Dawn of the Dead. I am a Day of the Dead fanatic, but I'd be lying if I said that Dawn of the Dead, the remake, isn't one of my favorites too. I like it more than the original Dawn of the Dead. Some may find that blasphemous. I've seen actually a good number of people say they enjoyed the remake more. I just really like the remake of Dawn of the Dead. I think it's a great, fun movie. It came out at a good time, and it's really good. So check out the remake if you have not seen the remake of Dawn of the Dead. Coming in at number 3, another movie that scared me to no end when I was young is The Grudge. I love The Grudge, a fun movie. You know, I don't know if this movie was done because, you know, they took The Ring and redid that, which was I believe an Asian horror movie, and then they said, well, if that was successful, let's do this Grudge movie, because I think The Grudge was an actual Japanese movie. Somebody in the comments section, let me know more of the history about that. I don't typically look into those types of things, but if my memory serves, that was the case. But The Grudge was great. The Grudge had some really good suspense scenes in it, and the imagery. The movie's not so scary now, but it's definitely not silly in my opinion. It still holds up pretty good, and it's a good atmospheric, suspenseful horror movie that I really enjoy watching. And the sequels, I don't know if they were as good. It's been a long time since I've seen those, but that original Grudge scared me when I was young to no end, so give The Grudge its due. Coming in at number 2 for me is a movie that my buddy Shaun Beard pushed me into watching finally, and I loved it. Shaun of the Dead, probably one of my favorite zombie movies ever made. I'm a sucker for a good zombie movie, although I don't typically like a whole lot of them. You know, this is one of my favorites, obviously Return of the Living Dead Part 2, but Shaun of the Dead was perfect, and I was always a little nervous getting ready to watch this because I was like, oh, okay, it's a British horror movie. I don't know that it's going to translate well to the American humor, because their humor is a little bit more darker, a little bit more short-ended and cold, I think. I was shocked by how universal this movie was. This movie had universal tastes. Everybody could enjoy the movie. It was just a great, fantastic watch when they're throwing the records at the zombie and like, no, don't throw that one. That one's going to be worth money. Great stuff. You know, Shaun of the Dead was a fantastic movie. I can't put it over high enough. Just great. So there we go. I do want to give a shout out for an honorable mention, a movie called Satan's Little Helper. I watched this on Netflix years ago. They don't have these kinds of movies on Netflix anymore. Maybe Shudder will get Satan's Little Helper. I want to watch the movie again. I just remember finding that to be a cute little movie. I really liked it. I need to watch it again. It's been a while. I can't comment on it too much, but I watched it when it first came out on Netflix, and Netflix was putting out those cool kind of lower budget horror movies, and I really liked it. So check that movie out, Satan's Little Helper, and let me know if it's streaming anywhere, guys, or if I can get a cheap DVD of it. My number 1 horror movie for the year of 2004 is absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, the movie Saw. You know, James Wan's Saw, to me, is my generation's Friday the 13th. The Saw franchise, to me, is my generation's Friday the 13th. I don't mean it in a sense that they're anything alike, because they're not anything alike. But what I'm getting at is, I'm imagining people growing up in the 80s, every year was like, okay, here's the next Friday the 13th coming out in theaters. Oh man, I can't wait till next year's. What are they going to do next year? What are they going to do next year? And you had Jason Lives, and you had The New Blood, then you had Jason Takes Manhattan. You had all these great Friday the 13th movies come out in the theaters. Well, for me, growing up, I got to see the Saw movies in the theaters almost every year for a long stretch of time, and it was so fun. Oh man, what kind of traps are they going to do this year? What are they going to do this year? How scary is this one going to be? Is it going to be gorier? What's the story going to do this year? So that's what I'm getting at, and I really love the Saw franchise for that. But that first Saw movie, I remember getting it, we rented it, brought it home and watched it, and I was in shock, just the terror. But that movie is very psychological. It's not so much a torture porn movie, especially not the first one. Maybe the sequels, you could argue that for sure. But the first Saw movie, I think, is fantastic. Danny Glover was in it, which is really refreshing. When you go back and you watch Saw, I think that's really cool that Danny, I'm too old for this, is in the movie. I love the first Saw movie. I think it's great. I think the franchise is very fun, but that first Saw movie is absolutely the best in my opinion. It's just that good. So 2004, guys, a really fun year. I cannot wait to see what you guys put in your list for 2004. Please be sure to give this video a like, drop a comment with your list, because as always, if you put a movie that I have not seen, I will go and then watch it, and I can follow back up if I like the movie or not. You can also check out the description, guys. We got the new Patreon where you can sign up for tiers, where your name will be in every video, or you could also sign up for tiers where you can hear all the original music that I write and record myself for my channel, and that's awesome. And you can also check out the Teespring where you can rock Christian Hanna horror gear. Check that out, guys, in the description. It's all there for a good price. Thank you guys for watching this video. We'll see you for 2005. Remember to check out Gutter Garbs. Look how awesome this shirt is.